face like the gnolls or demons. When the door opens, Kang takes a seat on the bed, hiding his daggers, and invites the person to come in. As the door opens, Kang is curious to see what kind of monster or person will appear. To his surprise, a human man enters. Kang asks him what the matter is, and the chief replies not to worry, explaining that he is the chief of the village. He came to check after receiving a report about a traveler speaking a different language. Kang is observing the chief closely, noting that he looks young for someone in his position. The chief, using his observation blessing, is able to see Kang's status window, which makes Kang slightly uncomfortable. The chief suggests that Kang try to hide his status window, but admits it won't work on someone like him who has the observation blessing. The chief then comments that he initially thought Kang might be a fairy who sneaked into the village, but believes Kang must actually be someone from a distant land. He explains that the village has a complicated history with fairies, having lost their homes due to the greed of fairies, eventually spilled into human territories. Many people in the village lost their families to this conflict. The chief reveals that the village is essentially a fort established by people who gathered together for revenge. As a result, there are many mercenaries in the village, and most of the original grievances have faded over time. Meanwhile, God expresses frustration with Kang's current situation. The chief explains that the village is full of inexperienced individuals, greenhorns, who came to gain experience in battle. As the chief prepares to leave, he asks Kang one last question. He shows Kang a potion and tells him that since he had dinner earlier, it should have had an effect due to being laced with a paralysis potion. However, the potion seems to have no effect. Kang, now suspicious, pulls out a dagger in response. The chief, impressed, explains that the potion had no effect because Kang, like fairies, has a high resistance to potions. He reveals that the potion is a spell designed for situations like this, and explains that this resistance to potions can't even be broken by something like the invisible rope he possesses. When the chief takes Kang's dagger from him, Kang is shocked. The chief states that Kang's situation is unfortunate, but not his fault. God warns Kang that they are attempting to warn him. Kang's unease grows as the chief's intentions become clearer. Later, Kang finds himself imprisoned. The chief tells him that while the villagers are angry with the gnolls, believing them to be responsible for the loss of their families, the truth is that the gnolls are also victims. The real culprits, according to the chief, are the fairies who pitted the two sides against each other by taking the gnolls' land. The chief reveals his own curse, calling it the karma of one who carries the truth. His name is Crimson, and he is at level 16. He bears the curse of the fairy, which means that he is the sworn enemy of fairies, and as a result, his life and youth have been shortened. Kang, confused, asks if the goddess gives out such curses. The chief responds that this curse is a result of the accumulated grudges of the fairies he has murdered, likening it to an honorable scar. Kang realizes that each curse has its own unique condition, and this one is a direct consequence of the chief's actions. When Kang denies being a fairy or having any particular disdain for them, the chief becomes more aggressive, putting the dagger to Kang's head. He tells Kang that he changed his mind after seeing his dagger and asks where he obtained it. Kang simply lies and claims that he killed a fairy who shot an arrow at him. He also tells the chief that they may have a common enemy, the fairies. Crimson seems impressed, remarking that Kang's skills are remarkable if he truly killed a royal fairy. However, Kang remains unaware that the fairy he killed was of royal status. Crimson smiles and says that despite Kang's apparent ignorance, he is in quite a precarious situation. Kang asks the chief to spare his life, but Crimson tells him that it's a shame since Kang saw his status window. He reveals that he is a mage without the magic blessing, a lone wolf running through the wilderness. Crimson cryptically adds that Kang will never be able to run the wilderness again. God, meanwhile, prays for Kang's luck in the afterlife. Crimson, demonstrating his own black magic, makes a lady fall to the ground, placing his foot on her body and stating that he is a dark mage who must sacrifice others to prolong his life. He smiles and explains that though the curse from the fairies may eat away at him, he can continue fighting it by using sacrifices to extend his life. Crimson tells Kang that he will sacrifice him without pain, as a reward for caring about the fairy royalty. Kang, maintaining his composure, smiles, and sarcastically responds that the chief is very generous, despite his apparent malicious intentions. Kang thinks he might just be kicked to the curb by a god with a rotten personality, but this is not the worst. He can still keep on yapping. He calls Chief Crimson and asks him if he wants to beg for his life. Kang responds that he will not. Crimson urges him to proceed, expressing his desire to hear his last words. Meanwhile, something irritates him, and he swiftly kills them with his rope. Kang remains terrified and silent after that. Crimson inquires what Kang wishes to say. In contrast, Kang reflects that the chief's actions seem abnormal, or perhaps he is showing him all this on purpose, aiming to be recognized as someone on the side of justice. Kang confesses that it has been a difficult journey with no one acknowledging his efforts. Crimson grins and acknowledges, it seems that he understands him. Kang replies that it is because he is an outsider. Crimson responds, stating that being an outsider means a lone wolf roaming the wilderness. Kang realizes Crimson too is an outsider. Meanwhile, the god murmurs that Crimson is definitely not an outsider. Kang also disagrees, but believes he has successfully empathized with him. Crimson grins again and confides that he likes Kang, declaring that as an outsider, he must continue being a lone wolf. Kang ponders his strange logic, thinking that initially, Crimson expresses liking him for the greater good, but now he wants to kill him to preserve his status as an outsider. Kang feels pissed off. Crimson tells him this is a happy day as he finally meets someone who understands his great mission. Kang thinks he gets himself into the worst situation possible. He is scared. After that, some people hang with the chain. Crimson watches them. He comes near the boy and says he should go with him as he is in a bad state lately. The boy says something to him in another language. He replies that his mate needs to live on and entertain him, so he will not kill her. After that, he pulls him down. The boy falls in the formation made by Crimson. He starts his black magic and calls his mother for life. He requests that she allow him to have the remaining life of this fairy. The magic circle begins to glow. The boy in the process is visibly terrified. Crimson assures him that if he surrenders it to him, he will reunite him with his mate very soon. He grips the boy by his hair, warning him that he has witnessed the consequences of rejecting his mercy. Meanwhile, Kang reflects on what happens to the chief. He speculates that the chief becomes younger by absorbing the life force of the fairy. After a brief pause, Crimson declares that his spell is a success. Kang responds by stating that he doesn't appear younger. Crimson explains that it is because he is not human. He admits that he doesn't sacrifice fairies to extend his life, and he doesn't know how many fairies and travelers he has killed. Kang remarks that it is to the point that the fairy's curse is a tragic one. Crimson removes his clothes, revealing something to Kang. Kang is now intrigued by what he's doing, but is shocked when he sees that Crimson is a gnoll. Crimson openly identifies himself as a gnoll. Kang, filled with fear, wonders if Crimson might be of mixed race. Crimson boasts about the remarkable combination of two races that harbor deep resentment toward the fairies. He grins, saying that he will soon exact his revenge using his human intelligence and gnoll physique. Crimson claims that his dark magic is supreme. Kang questions him, asking how he seeks vengeance by hunting fairies with the power of the fairies. Crimson approaches him and tells him not to worry about trivial matters. He then proceeds to teach Kang about outsiders and reveals his true identity. He grabs Kang, asserting that he will forget him and put his life to good use. Kang, trying to make sense of it, sarcastically responds that Crimson has been of so much help to him. Kang then asks if Crimson still wants to kill him. Crimson coldly replies that it is because Kang is an outsider. Kang feels a surge of anger and realizes that today, he has learned that a truly dangerous outsider exists. He believes that this moment is his fated turning point. On the other side, at the temple, Princess Athena Archmazing, renowned as the genius of the Archmazing Magic Kingdom, admires the hard-working. Despite her royal status, which consumes much of her time, she doesn't need to try due to her immense talent. Meanwhile, Yu Bora asks if magic is created through their imagination, and suggests they could increase efficiency if no other methods exist. Despite hearing that a magician's skills are determined by bloodlines and school connections, Yu Bora's dedication and working hard catches Princess Athena's attention. As a result, she decides to make Yu Bora her first apprentice. Princess Athena praises her question and explains that to improve her magic, she must follow the magic of her teachers or parents. She then demonstrates some magic with mice, surprising the heroes. Princess Athena thinks that thanks to the talent passed down from their ancestors, members of the Archmazing royal family are capable of using exceptional fire magic generation after generation. She then shows them an ice rabbit, her unique magic, and asks if anyone wants to try it. They all eagerly agree, and Yu Bora steps forward. However, the magic doesn't work well for her, and Princess Athena explains that it's because Yu Bora is still getting used to it. She reassures her that with more experience, Yu Bora will be able to create the magic easily. Yu Bora thanks her for the explanation. Suddenly, Jang Maon speaks up, asking Princess Athena if anyone will like her since she doesn't receive a blessing. The other students begin shouting that they need a blessing and complain that Princess Athena is being unfair, treating them all the same. Princess Athena, after thinking for a moment, asks which hero wants to be her second apprentice. All the heroes shout in unison that they want to be her second apprentice. The students, now eager, begin pleading for her attention. However, with a single sentence from the princess, the alliance collapses as the students start fighting amongst themselves. Princess Athena then tells them to inform her of who wants to be her second apprentice. Yu Bora asks if this is done intentionally, but Princess Athena is confused by the question. Afterward, Princess Athena concludes the lesson by telling them that unique magic, like her ice rabbit, can only be obtained after countless trials, errors, and practice. Yu Bora then speaks up, comparing it to black magic. Princess Athena, shocked by the comparison, tries to explain that black magic differs from white magic. Yu Bora asks if it's impossible to continuously practice black magic alone, and Princess Athena, looking concerned, explains that black magic requires sacrifices each time it is used. Meanwhile, Kang stands in the center of a magic formation created by Crimson, deeply worried about why he has been captured by this insane man. Crimson, sensing Kang's hesitation, demands that he declare